What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Love and Marriage DC Season 1, Episode 2, Coldest Winter Ever. So Monique has an interview with a radio station. She had guest hosted before with this radio station, and they must have really liked her because they called her in for this interview because they're looking for a permanent co-host for one of their morning shows. So the interview is going great until the person interviewing her says that they really do like her, but they don't want her to bring any of the drama that she was associated with when she was on The Real Housewives of Potomac. Now, Monique's response was, I don't bring drama, but if it comes to me, I'll deal with it. Now, that answer for a reality TV show, reality TV star is a really good answer. You don't start it, but you know how to finish it. But if it's for a job interview and they're already letting you know that they know that you are associated with drama because of the reality TV show that you were on before, I don't think that was the best answer. I think that she should have just said, okay, that wasn't a very accurate representation of who I am, or my time on that show, I've learned many valuable lessons on how to handle conflict, and I will no longer be involved in any type of drama. I'm not going to bring it. I'm not going to get involved with it. I'm not going to have anything to do with any kind of drama whatsoever. If anything, I'm just going to walk away because, that's just not me, or something to that effect. But for her to say, well, if it comes to me, I'll handle it, it kind of makes it look like she's still all about that thug life. And when they showed the interviewer's reaction to what she said, he didn't have a smile on his face. So I don't know if he was pleased with her answer. So moving on from that, Chris is having a meeting or having lunch with Kevin, which is Winter's estranged husband. Kevin tells Chris that Winter has already sent him the divorce papers, and Winter is basically giving him no choice other than to sign the papers. Let's get this divorce going. So Kevin is, pouring out his heart to Chris, telling Chris that what really started it all was when Winter accused him of taking company money and using it for personal reasons or a personal purpose, which was to take the kids out skiing. Kevin says that he never took any company money. He never took the kids skiing, so he doesn't know where that came from. Then he starts going on and on and on about some financial situations that they're in, financial problems that they're having. So it seems like Winter wants to break off this marriage because of some weird or some suspicious business activities on Kevin's part. And it seems like, Chris feels really sorry for Kevin, especially when Kevin was talking about how he really misses the children. Now, him and Winter don't have children together, but he did get attached to her kids, especially the youngest one. He starts crying when he's talking about it. He just wants his family back, and that really tugged at Chris's heartstrings. Moving on from there, Monique and Chris, they are in their home because Monique is planning a vegan dinner party for all of their friends. And she tells Chris that she thinks that she got the radio job. She thinks that the interview went very, very well, that they really liked her. And she warns him that if she gets the job, he's going to have to deal with the kids in the morning because she won't be there. And Chris is like, well, that's what I do anyway. He was like, I got this. I'll do whatever I can to support you. I'm not worried about dealing with the children in the morning because I deal with them in the morning anyway. Okay. So Chris then tells Monique about his lunch with Kevin, and he's kind of doubting Winter's version of what went down in her marriage, and he's tense. It's like he's believing Kevin over Winter, and Monique is like, you know what? Winter has no reason to lie. I totally believe Winter. So yeah, there's this allegation, rumors or something that this Kevin guy is like a swindler or a scam artist. So Monique is completely team Winter, and it seems like Chris is leaning more towards team Kevin. Moving on from that, Ashley and Quick. So they know they're going to go to Monique's vegan dinner. So before they get to Monique's house, they stop by and get something to eat because they're not about that vegan life. So they need some sustenance in them. So they stop by somewhere, to get real food. And as they're eating, Quick breaks the news to Ashley that he has a lot of shows coming up. He's going to have to do 15 shows in 3 days. And And Ashley's kind of like, okay, here we go again. This the very thing that I'm always talking to you about, you're doing it all over again, which is, overbooking himself, overextending himself, working so much that he doesn't have time for the family. And then he works so much that it even affects his health because he's been in the hospital for exhaustion and all this other stuff. But, she's like, it is what it is. This is the life that I chose, to be married to someone who's a DJ, and, he's a part of this party planning event life. So this is what it is. What can you do about it? So it's all good. At the dinner, at Monique's vegan dinner, Irena was kind of like, okay, I don't eat vegan food. So, can I get Uber Eats or whatever? So I don't know how she handled that because she really wasn't that crazy about the vegan food. Ashley doesn't really care for Winter. Ashley thinks that Winter is a little bit too bougie, and Ashley herself, she likes to turn up. She likes to get down. And so Ashley really doesn't see it for Winter. And we see that in the course of the dinner. Monique invites them all as they're sitting there having dinner. Monique is talking about how her children are being homeschooled and that they're learning about the continent of Africa from top to bottom. And she says that she is planning a trip to Africa and she's inviting everybody at the table with her to go to Africa. And I was like, wow. OWN TV's got the big bucks to take everybody on an international trip. And I think out of all of the reality TV shows, this is probably the very first international trip since the pandemic. So Jamie had some questions about COVID and traveling, how are they going to handle all of that? And then this leads to a discussion of who's had COVID and what was their experience with COVID. Now, Chris himself says that he's had it. He had it twice. And then Monique says that she also had COVID. But then Monique says that when she had it, her family really wasn't tending to her. Nobody was really checking on her. And so Chris got upset about that. So he defended himself and he was trying to explain to the people there that, look, when she was sick with COVID, I was attending to her. But as he was trying to talk, Monique kept on over talking him and interrupting him. So he couldn't even get a sentence out. So he got so frustrated with her. He was like, can I just talk? And she was like, okay, go ahead. And then he says, well, then hush. And then she says, don't do all that. You're literally about to ruin this dinner. And I was like, how is he about to ruin the dinner when you're the one that's over talking him and not letting him speak? So when he finally got a chance to explain himself, he said that when he would check on her, she would get upset with him because he was interrupting her sleep. So, but after that, if she needed anything, she would text him and he would bring up whatever she needed. He was tending to her. So then Monique says, I never said that you were not tending to me. And so they rolled back the tape. And it clearly shows Monique saying that no one checked on her when she was sick. So I didn't get that at all. I was like, Monique, this whole argument started because you clearly said that your husband did not tend to you when you were sick. That's how this argument started, because he felt the need to defend himself and say that's not how it went down. When he started explaining himself, she even had said, that was pre-COVID. What you're talking about, you tending to me, that was pre-COVID. And he was like, no, it was when you had COVID. This is what I was doing for you. And I was just like, Monique, what are you doing? I thought that was a really ugly fight. So at the end of it all, they both apologized to each other. They kiss and they make up in front of everybody. But you could tell that everybody was clearly uncomfortable when they were arguing, because it was a nasty fight. It was just too nasty of a fight to be having in front of these people. If you want to argue like that in the privacy of your own home, that's one thing. But you're in front of your friends, you're in front of your guests, and y'all are just going at it like I don't know what. And it was just like y'all have no self-control, no respect for yourselves, for each other, to just be going at it like this. I thought it was a really nasty fight, because this was like a formal dinner. Your friends are there looking at you and y'all are just screaming at each other. It's like, it was bad. It was bad. I don't know if this is real or if this is all made up for the show. I have no idea. But if this is real, then there are some serious cracks in Monique and Chris's marriage, because this was a true indication that there are some major underlying issues between these two people. So after we get through with all of that, they apologize to each other. Like I said, Monique goes back to begging for advice from the Taylors, Irena and Jamie. So they didn't really want to talk about it, you could tell, but since they're kind of like backed into a corner, because Monique was saying, you keep telling us like the overall, like the generalized version of it all. Like y'all went through some stuff, but y'all made it through. I want to hear the details. I want to hear like what was really going on. And then someone else at the table, I think it was Ashley, said, "Yeah, we want to know like what were the downs. You talk about having the ups and downs, but what were the downs specifically?" So they wanted the juicy, dirty details of the problems of their marriage. So Irena said it was infidelity. That's what it was. And she didn't say infidelity. She said it was alleged infidelity because she said that she never caught her husband cheating on her. She never had concrete evidence that he was having an affair with another person or other people. But she would just hear rumors. People will come up to her and tell her, "Oh, your husband did this, your husband did that." She would see missed calls from females on her phone. So she said that she never really caught him in the act. Not in the act. She never really caught him cheating. And I'm like, okay, no one is ever really caught in the act, if that's what she was referring to. And if you're talking about like concrete evidence, like a text message that said, "Thank you for coming over and, coming over to my house last night. You really laid it on me. You really put it on me," or something like that. I don't know. I feel like with the information that she was given, based on what she said, that people were telling her that her husband was doing some suspicious activity, missed calls from females. I'm thinking, what more do you need? That's basically letting you know that he was kind of up to no good. Now, Jamie, in defense of himself, he was like, I I'm part of that nightlife. I'm an event planner, whatever he is. He's part of that party life. And so there's always females floating around wanting something from you. I don't know. I feel like I don't know these people. I have no idea. But if I had to give an opinion one way or the other, I would probably lean more towards the fact that he was messing around on Irena behind her back. I feel like he was, but maybe he wasn't. Who knows? Irena feels like if there wasn't any concrete evidence that she could like put in his face, maybe it didn't even happen. And that's why she said alleged infidelity. So then Winter becomes the topic of conversation. She says that her and her husband have been separated for 6 months. She hasn't seen hide or tail of him in 6 months. She says that his businesses are being sued. His business partners are pulling out because they found out that Kevin had been taking money out of the company or the businesses that he's involved in. So there's some fraudulent activities going on. There's lawsuits coming at them like every other day, and it's bad. It's really, really bad. So, she says that she's a relationship expert. Winter is herself. She says she's a relationship expert. And so she had asked all the right questions when she met Kevin. She had known him for about a year before they met, but coming to find out, he lied to her. So he had told her that he was living in a basement apartment. Well, coming to find out, he was living in the basement of his parents' house, not a basement apartment, the basement of his parents' house. So he lied about that. And then Ashley was like, "Well, you didn't ask him the right questions." And Winter said in her confessional that she's glad that she's now saved because if it was the unsaved Winter, she would have let Ashley have it. So Ashley was like, you're not asking the right questions. You should have asked the right questions as a relationship expert. There's no way that I would marry a man if I never been to his house. That's a good question. So Winter, did you ever go to his home when y'all were dating and before you got married? Did you ever visit his apartment, his basement apartment, to find out what's what? Like, what's going on here? I don't know. There's a lot of holes in this story from both Winter and Kevin. When I saw Kevin, he didn't look like someone who's got it like that. I don't understand what Winter saw in him. He looks like I don't know if I need to put it on this. He kind of looks like he's in recovery. Let's just say that. He looked like he was in recovery. And he looks like a 60-year-old man who is desperately trying to hang on to his youth. So I don't get it. I don't get it, Winter. I don't understand what you saw, because I don't see it. But maybe as the season goes on, we'll know more about it. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me in this review. On your way out, please don't forget to rate this video. If you like this content, subscribe. If you don't like this content, don't worry about it. Thank you either way. I really do appreciate you stopping by, and I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.